today as we go through different movements, hold different postures. You can explore and find a way to make them easy for you. So let's take a moment to settle in. Take a little rock side to side on your sitting bones, real gentle. Just feel from balance, one side to the other. And sometimes that means you might need to prop one leg or the other so you feel centered when you settle in stillness. And take a little rock front to back from pubic bone to tailbone. If your pelvis is not rocking that way, you're kind of stuck in this position, then I encourage you to sit up higher. Use more blankets or cushions so your pelvis is free. And we'll end up right in the middle, ideally, balancing on the sit bones. Feel for the pubic bone rooting down towards the earth and the tailbone uncurling, pointing straight down. Inhale, draw your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, move the shoulders back and down. Take 2 or 3 more shoulder rolls on your own, moving any direction. That starts to massage the knots in the top. Unglue the stickiness in the back. Deepening your breath as you create lung space here. Feel free to sigh out your mouth. And those feel somewhat freer than they did before. Put your hands on your low ribs, or at least your attention on your lower ribs. And we'll grow the breath. Inhaling to spread those low ribs. And exhale, they soften back in. Now your ribs, depending on how you've been breathing your whole life, they might not move that much. But just get a sense of the lungs starting to open, press towards the ribs as you breathe in. Everything softens back to center on the exhale. And once you've got a sense of movement, invite the breath into the back ribs too. The low back ribs expand from the low back and kidneys. Those stickier ribs. Continue to feel for the low back ribs, opening, unsticking. And shift your hands or attention down to your low abdomen, thumbs at or below navel. Continue to slow your breath down into the lungs so the back ribs lift, and then release the low belly so it softens into your hands, expands. Exhale, draw the low belly back in, not in a hardening way. I'm just waking up the low abdominals. Inhale, release low belly. Exhale, hug it back in. Take a few more breaths like that, allowing low belly to soften, pubic bone to root down. If the rooting pubic bone down, that's where bringing the breath into the back ribs decompresses without having to distort. A few more moments, inviting your breath into this chronically tense area, holding area, way down into the pelvis, even pelvic floor can start to let go. spinal twist repetitions. Bring your hands onto your heart. Continue to breathe into your low back ribs, even as you feel the chest rise into your hands. Exhale, little twist to the right. Inhale, center, open the back ribs. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, tall spine center, tall back of spine. Exhale, right. Keep going on your own breath rhythm, as if you're inside a column. Again, not a constrictive one, but one just that guides your movement side to side. Some of you are working for a little more energy. Of course, your breath can get stronger, the movement faster, almost like a breath of fire. Or the opposite, you might want to spend an extra breath or two on each side, getting taller even in the twisted shape. I'll get quiet for the next 6 breaths. You can just feel. All right, next time you inhale to center, pause, take a breath to lift the low back ribs off your sacrum, get tall through low back. Exhale, hug the low abdominals in without tucking your tail. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And release your hands. We're moving into pelvic tilts. So I invite you to lie down. But if you prefer to stay sitting, because we'll be lying down for a few poses, you can sit a different way, change the cross of your legs. Yes, pelvic tilts. Lying on your back with your knees bent, feet on the ground, about hips width apart. Hands can once again be on the hips, low belly area. Feel for the sacrum. The sacrum is that bony, the bumpy bone. That's the back of your pelvis at the bottom of your spine. Feel for that softly planted into the mat. And then feel for the bottom back ribs, softly planting into the mat or heading in that direction. If your ribs are nowhere near your mat, put something underneath your head or even underneath your head and shoulders. Ramp your upper body up so your low spine can relax. Then inhale into the low back ribs. Feel them spread out on the mat. Release low belly. Exhale, hug low belly in so low spine presses into earth. Inhale, release low belly, and top rim of sacrum tilts from the earth, arching low back up a little bit. Exhale, hug low belly in, press the top rim of sacrum down. Inhale, top rim of sacrum rises. Exhale, top rim sacrum down. Rocking back and forth on your sacrum with the ribs not moving. Continue on your own breath. And this might be such a small, subtle internal movement that I wouldn't see it, even if I were watching you in person. And that's fine. If you're inclined to move into a bigger movement, but that starts to arch the ribs, I want you to back out and start to decouple the movement of the pelvis from the rib cage. Get some freedom in your spine. We'll take 3 more breaths, isolating the pelvis, inviting breath again down into low belly as a way to relax low belly and the contents of the pelvis, pelvic floor. Some of you do strong yoga with me, and I encourage Mula Bandh when we're in stronger poses. But the key to Mula Bandh is being able to let go. So use your gentle practice to relax the musculature down at the root of your spine. All right. You can stay with pelvic tilts if this is soothing to you. Meditatively waking up the low back with your breath. Or we'll grow it into a supine cat and cow, relaxing your arms down. And next time you breathe in, top rim of sacrum up, arms come up. And now the ribs might leave the mat, arching your spine. Exhale, hands down, top rim of sacrum down. Maybe tailbone curls up a little. Inhale, opening up the front body, arms up. Exhale, lengthening your spine into the mat. Keep going for 6 more breaths. Again, movement as small and meditative as you please, or it might grow as long as it's breath driven. Now, when you complete this next round or two, come into a resting position. I'm recommending constructive rest where you walk your feet a little wider, knees rest against each other. And if it's okay to cross your arms across your chest, give yourself a hug with relaxed arms. If you prefer the opposite with your knees in butterfly and you're holding opposite elbows overhead, well, that's fine too. If you can relax in it. If you're in constructive rest with your arms across your chest, change the cross of your arms. Put the other one on top for a couple breaths. If you're in butterfly, switch the cross of your elbows. See the other arms on top. All right. Come on back to center. Unwind your arms, separate your knees, and walk your feet back to hips width. Let's do arm glide, leg slide. Starting with the arm glide, relax your arms down alongside your body with the palms facing up. Again, feel for sacrum grounded into your mat, the bottom ribs soft against the mat, and the ribs will stay steady. As you inhale, the arms start to sweep up the floor. Around shoulder height, start to turn the thumbs down to the floor without letting your ribs leave. Just go as high as you can. And then exhale, reverse back down. We'll do a few glides like that. Now, shoulder pain, shoulder tightness, you might not keep your hands on the floor. Maybe you raise them up like you're sweeping a giant exercise ball in front of you, inhaling, arms up, and exhaling, arms down. Or if one of your shoulders is injured, just do the one side that isn't. Or take it one at a time so you can focus on what you're feeling. Those of you who are sweeping the exercise ball might find that you can bring your arms closer and closer to the ground, maybe, as you lubricate shoulder joint and decouple shoulder movement from rib movement. Remember, ribs are steadily on the mat. Breath can still seep down into the low belly, relaxing its contents. All right, option to add the leg slide. Either keep going with the arms or let go of the arms and inhale. One leg out straight, slide your heel on the mat. Exhale, bring everything back to center. Trying not to jostle the sacrum or the ribs. Inhaling, arms up, one leg straight. Exhale, back to center. This slide is definitely much easier if you're wearing socks and are on a wooden floor. So if you need to make any accommodations, you can slide over the next, do 4 more to each side. No, 3 more to each side. You have time to accommodate yourself. If you want to focus again only on legs or only on maybe one arm, we'll do that. Breathe into the low back ribs, expand them on your mat as everything reaches away. Exhale, hug low belly in to bring everything back to center. Finish the round you're on. Take your time. And we'll meet once again either in constructive rest pose or resting butterfly. Either feet wide, knees together, cross your arms, or drop the knees open, maybe arms up. Everyone who has a crossed arm position, change the cross, including arms up. And then bring the arms back out alongside body, bringing the knees back to center. Inhale into low back ribs. Exhale, hug low belly in to bring a knee at a time into your chest. And then take a moment to settle in here with your feet off the floor. Some of you are squeezing the knees in, rocking out. Some of you are simply breathing into this new orientation of your back on the floor. Maybe a little easier to feel the bottom ribs down, but feel for low back light. All right, let's move into a spinal twist flow. Let's come into fetal curve, rolling onto right side. Then inhale, roll your left shoulder open, like you're twisting back on the mat. Maybe your arm opens, maybe not. We won't be here long. Exhale, back into fetal curve. Inhale, roll onto the other side. Inhale, open the right shoulder. Exhale, back to fetal curve. Inhale to roll to the other side. Exhale to settle in. All right, we'll keep going for a few breaths. Make this your own. Inhale, open left shoulder into twist. Exhale, back into fetal curve. Inhale to roll. If you find you don't want to go side to side on every breath, well, maybe you set up a prop underneath your knees and hold your twist for a few breaths. I'll let you keep going on your breath rhythm. If you don't remember the breath pairing, don't worry, you can't mess it up as long as you're breathing and you're moving in a healing way. You're doing it right. All right, next time you end up on your right side, we'll pause in the fetal curve. And slowly press yourself up to sitting. Use your hands. Relax your neck. We're transitioning to all fours. So go nice and slow. You might need to pause somewhere. Sitting, lying down. If you come up, you're a little lightheaded. Let's go right into micro twisting quadrupeds. So get comfy. Maybe patting under knees feels right to you today. Maybe a rolled up blanket or towel underneath the hands so your fingers can hang off. We'll take some pressure off the wrists. And once you're comfy in your quadruped, firm it up. Press the ground away a little bit so you get a lift out of the shoulders. Feel through the tailbone pointing back. Inhale into low back ribs. Exhale, hug low belly in, but dip the top rim of the sacrum down towards the floor just a little bit. Recover the natural curve of your lumbar spine. Not so much that you're arching your back and thrusting your ribs out. Just making space in low back. Inhale, turn your chest towards the left arm and lift the left hand straight off the earth. Not out to the side, just up an inch. Exhale, hug low belly in and pick the right knee up, straight up. Now for some of you, picking both limbs up, no, that won't work. Then keep your knees on the floor the whole time. Come back to center, knees down, hands down. Inhale, twisting to your left, pick left hand up. Exhale, hug low belly in, and option to pick left knee up. Come back to center. Inhale, turn your chest to the left, float the left hand up. Exhale, hug low belly in, float the right knee up. Micro movements. Hand down, knee down. Inhale, twist to your right, right hand up. Exhale, draw low belly in, left knee up. Do each side one more time. Though if your wrists are done, of course, rest instead. And then after your round, if one side felt way harder or less steady than the other, do that side one more time. If you felt pretty balanced, then either rest in your child's pose or put your elbows on the mat and wag your tail side to side. All right, next place we're going is Dolphin Prelude. So we'll all meet on elbows and knees. If your knees are getting uncomfortable, even with padding, you can absolutely do this on the wall. It'll be awkward to get to my wall, but you would just imagine the wall becomes your floor and you'll set up exactly like I'm talking, but against the wall. Come down onto your elbows, wrap your hands around your upper arms halfway between the elbow and shoulder. That should bring your elbows in right under shoulder joint. Now, if you have any shoulder injury where that's painful, tune me out. Otherwise, keep your elbows where they are or even bring them in a little closer. Clasp your hands in front of you, wrists softly flat on the ground. Move your knees back a few more inches and out towards the edges of your yoga mat. And then rest your head on the ground. Press the ground away a little bit with the wrists, with the elbows. Hug the elbows in towards your temples. Exhale, hug low belly in. Feel for the sternum chest, soft towards the earth, but not necessarily thrusting ribs out. Some of you know the more relaxed yin variation where you do let the heart sink towards the mat. If that's what your body's asking for, that's fine. Let's use this to lengthen the spine, and then you're probably feeling a lot of tightness between your shoulders, especially keeping your elbows close. That's where we're starting to soften with our breath. Direct your breath into the back of the lungs, the upper back, the backs of the shoulders. Exhale, relax jaw. 2 more breaths there. Inhale into low back ribs, balloon them off your low back. Exhale, scoop the low belly in towards the spine. Again, not hardening. Just waking up those muscles so they can support your back. And keep your neck relaxed as you shift your weight forwards. Your head comes up. Press yourself up to all fours. Either down dog, cat cow, or find a resting position that gets you off hands and knees if necessary. Next place we're meeting is standing. So take a few breaths to slowly transition up, whether you're walking your hands to your feet, feet to hands, or simply rolling up from your knees. Keep breathing. I'll back my camera up. I completely forgot to talk about props in the beginning of class. If you have a chair, a couch, or a wall, something you put your hands on, I'll cue you to go do it. You don't need to have that nearby to do what we'll do eventually. If you have a blanket or a towel, you can roll up. Some of you know my latest obsession is calf stretching. I found out getting the calves to lengthen really releases the pelvis, the low back, and it's changing my yoga practice after just a few weeks. So I have a rolled up towel. If you have a yoga blanket, you can roll it up like the way you find it in the stack on the studio and just roll it up until it's about 4 to 6 inches tall. And then, of course, you can unroll it to make it your own shape. If you're using a towel, you might just need to fold it in half another time to make it the right height for you. So breathe while you're rolling your props. If you're really coordinated, breathe into low back ribs. Exhale, hug low belly in and roll. All right, some of you are ready. Stand with the roll in front of your left foot. And then bring left foot on the roll, ball of foot and toes, but your heel stays on the earth. So adjust the size of your roll if necessary. If possible, stand with right foot next to left foot like you're in Tadasana. If that's too much stretch, step your right foot back. Put your hands on your hips. All right, now feel for rocking your weight back a little bit so your sacrum, back of pelvis lines up over your heels. So many of us stand habitually with our hips slightly forward, especially if we're trained in yoga with this open shape. So I'm inviting you to bring hips back, which might feel like you're going to fall on your bottom. Drop your chest down a little bit. Very un-yoga, I know, but eventually it gets comfortable. Now feel for the front of your pelvis being like one flat plane. For some pelvises, that's proper alignment. Not for all of us. Some of us try to feel for the stripe on your yoga pants, real or imaginary, getting that horizontal to the ground. So it should be a lightness. You can release your pelvic floor. Yeah. All right. Inhale into low back ribs. Exhale, drop your chest a little bit. Bring right arm out to the side. Bend your right elbow into a goal pose. Left hand on right side chest. Breathe into the right side of your chest. Exhale, feel the length in the left calf muscles. Some of you want more stretch, then you step your right foot forward, but bring your pelvis with you between your 2 feet. And breathe from the ground up through the left calf, all the way up into the right side of your chest. Exhale, soften the right shoulder blade down. Maybe the elbow moves back. Relax your arms. Step off your roll. Do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. Other side. Still breathing. Right foot on the roll. And feel for that, just like when we were sitting, that balancing the pelvis between the 2 feet. And then bring the weight back, probably. And if you're using, you can use your camera as a guide if you want. I guess I can look at mine while I'm telling you what to do. Trying to get your hips, technically these hip bones over my ankles. To me, that feels like butt out. Adjust by bringing chest down and then inflating your back ribs so they line up over your sacrum. Oh. And I feel like I'm leaning forward, but I just saw myself at another angle and I guess it looks straight. That's nice. Bring your left hand out to the side, bend your elbow. Right hand on left side chest. Breathe into the length in right side calves. Exhale, soften left shoulder down and continue to open your chest. Breathe into the tissue underneath your right hand. Exhale, feel for movement under that tissue. Maybe a little vibration or warming. Again, if you want more stretch, you step left foot forward. Less stretch, left foot back. 2 more breaths. Breathe into low back ribs. Release your low belly. Exhale, hug low belly in. Relax your arm down. Step off your roll. And why not? Let's counterpose with the shin stretch. From Tadasana, with your newly balanced pelvis, step your left foot back onto your toes to stretch front of foot and ankle. Watch out for the heel rolling out into a sickled shape, your big toe in. Press a little into the inner ankle so you're getting a stretch through the tighter part of foot. Exhale, soften your chest down a little bit. And then for those of us who like to multitask, you can do whatever you like with your arms. I'll offer a serratus anterior activator. Arms forward, bend your elbows, hold an invisible block between your elbows. So you've noticed if you narrow your elbows onto the block, even your invisible block is a little bit heavy. Lift it up just a tiny bit without lifting your ribs up. Exhale, soften shoulders down back. Inhale your elbows into the block, but open your wrists away from it. Exhale, relax your arms. Step the left foot forward, right toes back. Former ballerinas, you might have to step it way back. Then rock your weight forward. Bend your knees if you need to. An option again to send arms in front of you, bend your elbows, hold your invisible block. Inhale into low back ribs. Lift the block up. Exhale, hug low belly in. Drop your shoulders from your ears. And then maybe a little more external rotation. Hands move out without bending the wrists. Relax arms. Step back to center. Let's do some hip hiking. Standing in Tadasana, feet hips width apart, parallel to each other. Hands on your hips. And again, if you're being meticulous, go ahead. Shift your weight back a little bit to that weird Pelvic balance, drop the ribs down. Press down into right foot. Inhale, left heel off the mat, just like an inch. And set it down. Inhale, press right foot down, pump the left foot up. Exhale, back to center. Keep going like that a few times. Left hip will rise up. These are the muscles that are lifting, not out to the side. I don't want these muscles, but in your waist, pinching up. Oh, yeah, hold on to your waist, then you can feel them. Now, if you're tucking your tail, your weight's forward, you're going to feel the more muscles along the spine. Maybe that's all right. But I suggest keeping your pelvis back a little bit so you get everything around the waist to pick that foot up. All right, one more on this side. And switch sides. Push the left foot down so the right heel floats up. Right hip will rise. And again, this might be such a subtle movement that I wouldn't even see your foot really come off the mat, and that's fine. That's not the goal. We're not going to walk around like this too much, so no need to develop that skill. All right, two more on this side. And then put your hands on a wall, chair. I recommend chair or couch is fine. Something not too low because this is not a hamstring stretch per se. So you might be high against the wall. And then if you have to turn away from me to see the wall, I'll show you what we're doing and then you can go position yourselves. And you can absolutely do this standing up too. It's just kind of a little nicer to have the weight off your legs. We'll find that optimal alignment, breathing into the low back ribs, draw low belly in, exhale, and then inhale, hips to the left. Exhale, circle them back and to center. Inhale, hips to the right. Exhale, back to center. Inhale to the side, left, back. Exhale, center. Inhale, right hip out, back. Exhale, center. And once you got a feel for that movement, bring it to the side, back, and center. You'll smooth out, not pausing between, starting to figure eight your hips. Knees might have to be very bent so you're not torquing the knees at all. If you're starting to feel this in low back, then once again, soften the low ribs up into your body. Breathe into low back ribs. And just like everything we do, this can be tiny and meditative, but you're getting your breath into your pelvis. Or it might be more fluid than you expected. Too bad it's Monday. Well, you could still find a place to go out dancing, I'm sure. All right. Once you've got that movement back, dance your way back to your yoga mat. Let's do a little side bending series, Arturo Tadasana. So far, no shoulder injuries. Everyone's okay bringing arms up. We're going to do some standing side bends. So if there's any reason bringing the arms up doesn't work for you, you can simply do the side bends without your arms. Can you see my hand? I'll back up a little. All right, first round, bringing your arms up. Turn your left hand out to the side if this is okay on shoulder. I'm going to offer different rotations. Do what works for you. Catch left wrist with your right hand. Inhale, lengthen left arm bone up. Exhale, draw it over to the right. Relax your head onto the right shoulder. Now, this arm rotation probably focuses the stretch closer to your shoulder. So you don't have to lean too far to feel it. In fact, feel down into your feet. Feel for equal balance. Big toe to ball of foot to heels, and maybe rock your sacrum back towards your heels. Drop the low ribs back into your belly. Breathe into the low back ribs. All right. Inhale back to center. Relax your arms. Right arm up. Palm out. Catch your right wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean to your left. Also, since this is open right shoulder, I'm not too concerned with coming down and crunching left side. Feel for lengthening out, making space. You've already created a lot of space around pelvis, low back. Get your breath into it. Weight back towards your heels a little bit. Breathe into low back ribs. Exhale, press both feet down, equal balance. And inhale to draw yourself up. Relax your arms. Let's do a little empty coat sleeves. Step your feet a little wider. And twist, little twist side to side with your empty coat sleeve or spaghetti arms. Just going with the flow. If you find yourself tapping yourself, make soft fists. Give yourself little energetic taps. Acupressure. If this is tweaking on knees, just shift your weight from one leg to the other. No need to torque the knees. All right, start to find your way back to stillness. Round 2. Either Tadasana or step your left foot behind your right. Maybe so much that you're almost like in Tadasana, but your feet are on backwards. You look down and it looks very weird. Then arm up. This time we'll turn the left palm in towards your head. Maybe even continue to turn the palm behind you so your elbow points forward, your shoulder blades coming around. We call that wrapping the shoulder. For most shoulders, it's protective, but if it hurts, it's not worth it. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, reach over to the right. Rest your head on right arm. Maybe squeeze your thighs, squeeze your glutes, press your hips to the left. If you want to uncross your legs and do this in Tadasana, that's fine. Feel for the opening now, probably down left lower spine towards hip. Send your tailbone straight down to your heels. Scoop your low belly up. Exhale, squeeze your thighs, squeeze your glutes to pull you back up. Relax your arms, relax your legs. At any point you want to go to the wall and do some figure eights or just stand here, go for it. Side number 2, if you're doing the cross-legged position, right behind left. And this is a little fussy, but to get into this frontal hip muscle, rotate the right knee towards the right, if that's okay for you. Right arm up, turning palm in towards center or spin it as much as you can safely. Left hand lengthens it up, inhale. Exhale, lean to your left, rest your head on left shoulder. Press your hips out to the right, if possible. Glue your inner thighs together so you have one strong but twisted leg. Breathe into low back ribs. Exhale, squeeze your thighs to pull you back to center. Dance it out. Twisting chair variations. Stand in Tadasana, feet separated, or you can bring your feet together if that's comfortable for you. Sitting in a chair, hips back, arms forward, trying to rock your weight back so your knees maybe line up over your ankles rather than the knees coming away forward. Stick your butt out and then pull your front ribs, low belly in. It'll feel just like before, like you're going to fall on your bottom. That's a good spot. Inhale. Exhale, open the right arm. Little twist to the right. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull belly in, twist left. Inhale, forward. Do one more on each side. Sit back a little bit more if you have room for it. And then either finish in forward fold or put your hands on your hips and return to standing. I think I promised we wouldn't play with discomfort. Sorry. Maybe you'll enjoy it later. All right, everyone, find your way back up to standing. Now let's come down. Let's sit down. Feet on the floor in front of you, about hips width apart. You can rest on your hands or put your elbows on something. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, drop your knees to one side. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. Inhale, center. Exhale to the other side. Keep going on your own breath. For some of you, the swish swoosh will grow. Or you might find that once you get the hips lubricated with a couple swishes, you simply want to be still for a few breaths. That's fine. We'll keep going about 10 breaths. I'll get quiet so you can close your eyes and just feel in. We're starting to wind our way towards earth. So that's the intention. That's what you're feeling for. As you do the bigger movements, you'll feel how this imitates walking in your hips. You might have to crawl yourself back or bring your hands forward. All right. Next time your knees drop to the right, we'll keep them there. You'll be on right hip. Left hip might be rising. That's fine. Is everyone okay in this shape? If not, we're moving into a twist. So you might go into cross-legged seat instead. Twisting towards your right, left hand on or on the ground past the right knee, looking over right shoulder. Those of you, I call this mermaid legs. I don't know where I learned that from. Maybe Karina. So if you're in your mermaid seat, press your tailbone into the body. Press your left front hip forward a little bit. Decompressing. Cross-legged seat spinal twist. Just feel for lengthening, spiraling up. Look over right shoulder if that feels like a sweet stretch for the neck. If you sense tightening, then untwist your neck. Okay. Those of you in the mermaid's position, maybe come down into a forward fold variation, elbows or even head on the ground. And you can angle either towards thigh. I'll give you time if you want to move your body towards shin or towards foot. Getting into the different hip rotators and then settle, please do. Sitting, maybe you simply bow your head forward, brace your arms, any variation of forward fold. Breathe into low back ribs. Release low belly. Exhale, soften low abdominals back towards spine, lengthening spine. All right. Sleeping mermaids, keep your neck relaxed as you press yourself back up to your hands. And then ease yourself over to the other side. Pick your left knee up and roll onto left hip. Part one, spinal twist towards the left, right hand to left knee. Or you can bring both hands past the left thigh. Looking towards foot if that makes sense. One more breath to lift heart. Press your right hip forward. And then if you're coming to a sleepy variation, lower onto elbows, or maybe fold your hands. Those of you who've done seated twist, if you're even on both sides, maybe a Baddha Konasana, forward fold. Unless you only folded with the right leg in front, then you switch, left leg in front. And a couple more breaths, sleepy mermaids. If you're exploring other places in your hip, you might shift your hands toward your foot or toward your knee. And keep your necks relaxed as you press yourself up with your hands. And actually, from your side, let's lie down. Slide down onto your side to roll onto your back. If there's a safer way for you to come down, ease yourself to the earth. Line your back. Let's start with knees bent, feet on the floor. Drawing right knee to shoulder. You can hold onto the knee or behind the knee. Or if you want to find a strap or a towel, so your arms can stay relaxed as you support your leg in. You don't have to hold it in place, do that. Circle your ankle a few times. And a few times in the other direction. Either stay as you are or figure 4, hook flexed right ankle over left thigh. And then any variation of this hip stretch, you can leave the left foot on the floor or you can hug it in. I find keeping the right foot flexed and across my thigh, so the ankle's not even on the thigh, puts the least pressure on the knee. Of course, work with what you're feeling so you can get breath down into pelvis and hip. More is not better. In fact, if you're in a simpler variation, you might feel one spot really light up for you when I get quiet for a moment. Either stay as you are or half happy baby. Turn the sole of the right foot up to the ceiling. Left foot on the ground or left leg straight. Maybe left hand resting on the top of the left thigh to help ground your pelvis. Untuck your tail. And fold the right foot back in so you can set it on the floor and draw left knee up towards left shoulder. It's a little like knee to chest, but out to the side. Maybe feel for that grounded sacrum, the grounded back ribs, but the soft low back. Circle your ankle, wiggle your toes. Option to move into figure 4 stretches. As you're bringing breath and attention down into the pelvis, spacious pelvis, if this becomes free form play, do that. Option to open left foot into half happy baby. Maybe mirroring what you did on side one, but I bet you've noticed this side, brand new experience. And I'll get quiet. I have to tell you, I get quiet. I always think the Zoom froze when it's quiet. I've jumped out of Shavasana so many times to look at my computer. So maybe I'll just breathe loudly while you focus on you. We are heading towards Shavasana. We've left time for like a 2.5-minute Shavasana. If you want much more Shavasana, well, then keep playing and then turn your computer off when you're ready to rest undisturbed. Set a timer if you're concerned. If you're staying with me and resting, we'll get comfy. You might choose to set yourself up in a way where you feel back, low ribs, easy on the mat, sacrum, easy on the mat. The muscles around hips relax. The low back is relaxed. And then you can even let that go. Yes, smart raising the legs or raising the head can support your spine. Continue to let go. And you may continue to rest anyway. Make that decision. If you're ready to come out, start by taking a huge breath in. Exhale, maybe with a sigh. Maybe reaching the arms up in a stretch sounds right to you. Or drawing one knee at a time closer to your body and easing over onto your side. If kicking up with momentum is the easiest way for you to come up, do that instead. Otherwise, press the ground away and keep your neck relaxed. Before we bow out, take one more moment with your hands or your attention on low belly. And as you breathe in, relax low belly, pelvis, everything supported by earth. Exhale, softly draw low belly in as a way to lift your heart. Bring your palms together, thumbs against your sternum. Lift your heart. bow to your heart. When things start to feel too busy, too claustrophobic, maybe you come back to the space you've created within. Namaste. Well, thank you all. Happy Monday. Absolutely lovely to practice with you. I hope to see you next week, if not in class, if I don't bump into you.